If you already own a Mac or an iPhone, do you actually need an iPad? Think about this. If you add a keyboard and a pencil to your iPad, it will even cost more than a very powerful MacBook. The software of an iPad is limited. There's so many reasons on why people might think that you don't need an iPad. That's why in this video, I wanted to tell you the total opposite. Well, today I'm gonna give you 5 reasons on why you need an iPad. The last one is my favorite one. And stay tuned till the end of the video because I'll be honest, I'll be real with you, telling you everything that you need to be aware before buying an iPad. So the first reason that you might want to pick one up is its versatility. An iPad is the perfect versatile device. The iPad does so many things that the MacBook can't and that the iPhone can't. The iPad is the only device in the Apple ecosystem that has multiple ways of using it. It can adapt to different situations, times of the day. Now, what I mean by this and what I always say when I explain why I love an iPad so much is its versatility, because an iPad, it's a tablet when you need it and a journal when you need it. Accessories like the Magic Keyboard or the Logitech Combo Touch totally change the experience that you have with your iPad because it truly transforms it into a laptop-like experience when you need it. With the Magic Keyboard, you've got illuminated keys, you've got a full-on function row, so you can access your volume controls, your media controls, and even have a physical escape key, which is very nice. And probably the favorite reason on why you might want a Magic Keyboard is you've got a trackpad. And a trackpad truly changes the experience on using an iPad itself because iPadOS, which is the iPad software, has truly adapted to the trackpad. If you're a student, a Magic Keyboard is pretty much a must because it allows you to truly be precise while selecting a word or a specific letter in your essay. And with the Magic Keyboard, it adds extra versatility as well because it adds another port to your iPad. So you can plug in an external SSD while still being able to charge your iPad. But the Magic Keyboard is one of the reasons that brings this versatility. An iPad is also a very good tablet. It's a very good consumption device because when you're using an iPad without any accessories, it does amazing at doing its thing. As Apple likes to call the iPad, it truly feels like a magical sheet of glass, a device that you can pretty much do anything you want on it. Since you've got such a large variety of iPad models, from the iPad to the iPad mini to the iPad Pro to the iPad Air to the iPad Air 13-inch. You've got so many models, different sizes, making it amazing to watch movies on an iPad Pro 13-inch or reading books on an iPad mini. And then you add the journal aspect of it, and then you add the Apple Pencil, and it truly transforms your iPad experience to the whole new level, which is the second reason on why you need an iPad. The Apple Pencil truly transforms your iPad into this creative tool, and it brings you into the world of digital note-taking. You see, when I was a student and I went to college, the iPad truly transformed all of my notes. The Apple Pencil and the iPad truly allowed me to take notes digitally in a way that was never really possible before. The best thing about the Apple Pencil is that it truly feels like a pencil. You see, something that a MacBook doesn't have is a back-facing camera, which means you can't take photos on your Mac, but you can take photos on your iPad. If we're talking about digital note-taking, a must-have for me is the ability to scan document. Because then when you scan documents of some paperwork that you need to do or of some homework that you need to do, being able to snap a photo of it and then annotating it with your Apple Pencil also changes everything. There's so many incredible note-taking apps on the iPad, such as Notability or GoodNotes, that even allow you to take notes even further. For example, allowing you to not only voice record your class on your iPad, but also transcript all that class into text form, which you can then later summarize, annotate, highlight. And that's why you just see so many iPads around so many schools and colleges and campuses across the globe. It's because students simply love iPad. Now, reason number 3 can be a little bit controversial because one of the big reasons I love using an iPad is its convenience, but most importantly, its portability. And a lot of people are like, the MacBook Air is lightweight and it's also extremely portable. And while I agree with that, I agree also with the point that the iPad is just so much more portable. The iPad, or in this case, the iPad mini, has this such great form factor that you just kind of want to take it everywhere. Since the iPad, in most cases, doesn't have an actual keyboard, it brings a certain portability and usability that you can just take it out and take some notes on it, and by far not the same way that a Mac can. And look, I don't want to keep comparing the Mac with the iPad. I truly also feel like they're two very different devices. I've made tons of videos comparing both devices. If you're interested in watching that video, obviously links are down below in the description. What I mean by this portability is that the iPad, in my opinion, is the perfect middle ground between an iPhone and a MacBook. There's a lot of occasions Take note-taking, for example, and take this iPad mini, for example. The MacBook is not even close to the portability for taking notes as an iPad mini has. And the iPhone, in a lot of cases, which by the way, the iPhone obviously does not come and it's not compatible with the Apple Pencil. Once you have an iPad and you've used an iPad and it's adapted into your workflow and your ecosystem, you're just gonna find so many ways. It will simply find your place in your workflow in the Apple ecosystem. Now, you know how addicted I am to finding the best and the latest smart home product to obviously revolutionize your smart home. And that's why today I wanted to tell you about today's sponsor, Drio. Now, as many of you know, this month I was in CES in Las Vegas and I stopped by the Drio booth and they demoed me a bunch of their products. Now, Drio right now is the top 1 fan and heater brand in the US. Their booth was so much fun. They actually had the world's first wind motion simulator racing experience. So while I was driving the simulator car game, there was wind flowing through my face, which was just an unbelievable experience. It was so much fun. The team obviously also showcased all of their newest products. From the MC76, uses the auto shift PTC technology, which optimizes airflow by adapting for heating or cooling. It centers the PTC plate in warm mode and shifts it aside for strong airflow in cool mode. And it's super silent, coming at only 25 decibels. And if you're hungry, obviously don't keep watching because Drio's Chef Maker has an AI cooking assistant. Using Drio's app, you've got over 100 recipes, so it can pretty much do all the cooking for you. It's compact yet powerful. It has a lot of space inside so you can fit a bunch of food. And most importantly, it's got a very high precision probe book. So you can have very precise temperature detection like the Chef Maker. They also made us some coffee and I've never tried out milk being so creamy. They use their barista maker, which they actually sent me one for the studio, and I am so excited to test it out here. So Drio, apart from being an incredible fan and heater brand, they are slowly becoming a tech company, a smart home company. Starting in 2025, all of Drio fans will feature a self-developed BLDC motor, which means we're gonna get enhanced energy efficiency, silent operation, and extended lifespan of all of their products. The best thing about most of their products is that they're mostly compatible with Siri, so you can ask Siri to control certain devices from Drio. So if you're interested in any of the products that I've just mentioned, obviously hit the link down below in the description. Drio, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. As I was mentioning before in the video, reason number 4 is the App Store. And look, the iPhone has an incredible App Store, the Mac has an incredible App Store, but the iPad has a certain type of apps in the App Store and has so many incredible apps that just kind of feel native to the iPad. And that's reason number 4. Apps. Examples from this would be Procreate, LumaFusion, Final Cut Pro, Affinity Photo, Notability, GoodNotes. There are certain apps that feel native. I mean, Final Cut Pro is native, but the rest, like Procreate, which is an incredible, I mean, you probably know it and you even thought it was from Apple because of how good it is. It's the ultimate drawing and illustration app. Notability and GoodNotes, like the App Store is just full of incredible education apps, for example. If you're a student, there's so many incredible apps that will let you study on the go with your iPad, that will allow you to take notes on your iPad, that will allow you to be creative on the iPad. The App Store plays a huge role in the iPad's personality. And the gaming ecosystem inside of the App Store is also massive, and a lot of people love using the iPad because since you can connect a gaming controller to your iPad, you can take gaming anywhere really. If you're on an airplane, you can bring your iPad and your remote controller, and you've already got this ultra portable console everywhere you go. Which brings me to point number 5, my favorite. You see, what I love the most about the iPad is its battery life and its performance. The iPad's power, efficiency, and battery life allows you to run very high demanding tasks without needing to constantly recharge. Now, if we talk about its power, for example, it is literally absurd on how fast the latest iPad Pro with the M4 chip is. I love when products get way ahead of its time. There's barely any apps in the App Store or barely any workflows that you can do on an iPad that will slow it down. And that makes the iPad way ahead of its time. Now, it's obviously got its downsides, and we're gonna talk about it in just a second. But no matter what workflow you have on an iPad, everything will run smoothly. Pretty much any chipset that is running on any generation of iPad will do incredible for you, which means that any single iPad that you buy today from the lineup will run incredibly smoothly. The chipset that is in any iPad, even from the most budget iPad 10, will pretty much do wonder. And that's not something that happens with any product from from Apple. Now, as I said in the beginning of the video, I also wanted to talk about some things that you should be aware before buying an iPad. Some things that you should simply keep in mind. A lot of people go and buy an iPad thinking that it's a laptop. And even though you can have that laptop-like experience on an iPad with a keyboard, with a trackpad, with a mouse, it is not a Mac. If you're looking to buy a Mac, buy a Mac. A Mac offers a very distinct experience that is a more serious experience. In most cases, it is a more reliable experience. Take college students, for example. A lot of college students need to go on websites that run on desktop versions instead of Safari, for example. And me as a student, whenever I needed to go on these apps, I just found most of the times, not always, the iPad will run it fine in most cases. But on those times that it's just not reliable, that's why a Mac is a Mac. Think about the price as well. A lot of people want to buy an iPad because it's cheaper. And as I said in the beginning, it definitely isn't cheaper, especially if you want to get a keyboard and a pencil. Most of the times, it's even more expensive than a pretty decent, pretty powerful MacBook Air. So keep in mind that before buying an iPad, make sure to add up everything that you want. There's obviously a bunch of third-party accessories that I highly recommend. The Logitech Crayon is an incredible alternative to the Apple Pencil and does most of the things it does. So I'm not saying that you need to go with the Apple Pencil or with the Magic Keyboard. Logitech is also really good making keyboards, for example. Keep in mind the prices and add up everything that you want and add up everything that you want on the Mac and just be careful and compare. So just add up all the accessories that you want on an iPad and then compare to the Mac, and then you can decide on which one you want. Also, do keep in mind that iPad OS, which is the iPad software, is not Mac OS. You see, there's so many apps available on the iPad, but a lot of them or trimmed down versions of the Mac app. There's a lot of instances that it's not, for example. Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer are my favorite desktop apps on the Mac for graphic designing. And the complete version of the Mac is also available on the iPad. And then on the other hand, Final Cut Pro on the Mac isn't the same on the iPad. It's kind of a different experience. You can video edit on the iPad, I'm not saying not, but it's really not the same. So depending on what you work, what you study, just make sure to look out, beware as I'm saying, to see if all the apps, all the services, all the websites work on an iPad before buying a Mac. And something that I want to say again is a lot of people want to decide between a Mac or an iPad, and in a lot of instances, some people are really good with both. I use the iPad for certain things and I use the Mac for certain things. And I understand that students, for example, want to go to college and want to pick one device, so you obviously have to compare both of them. I understand that. But they do really play different roles in the Apple ecosystem and in my personal work. Those are the 5 reasons on why you need an iPad. The versatility on using a laptop, an iPad, a tablet, a journal is truly what does it for me. I'm curious what it does for you in your workflow and in your Apple ecosystem. Let me know in the comments. If you want an in-depth guide on which iPad that you should buy, you can tap this video right here. Or if you're still curious on should I buy a Mac or an iPad, you can tap this video right here. Or if you love the video and you want to support me, hit subscribe. I would definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.